I was just shattered. It's real hard to look at the war from the other side of the gun as a soldier, because I know the fear behind the trigger, but I didn't know what the fear felt like on the business side of the weapon. And that was something that really hit me to the core of who I am while I was over there. So I went along with it because I trusted these kids, and I trusted the group. Like, where are we going today? What are you going to do to my soul today? They said we're going to a landmine museum. I was like, oh my God. I was a paratrooper in the Army and a combat engineer, so I played with explosives often. And the last thing I wanted to do was walk into a room full of explosives. But I did it. And outside this museum, there's all these tombstones of empires. You see these blown up tanks and these MiGs and all these relics from past occupations. We go inside and there's one man, one very hard-faced Afghan man. And the room's not much bigger than this room, and there's tables going all around the room that are lined with explosives. Some of them I'm familiar with, some of them not. So this guy takes us around the room and starts talking to us about these explosives and where they come from and the bravery that it took to take them out of the ground. And we get back to the entrance of the museum, and he goes, I want to ask y'all a question. How many things in this museum do you think were made with the hands of the Afghans? I knew the answer to that question, but I kept my mouth shut. I was looking around at the rest of the group. Everyone else is keeping their mouth shut. So he's looking around, kind of tapping his foot, waiting for a response. No one says anything. Finally he says, nothing! Not a single thing in this museum was made with the hands of the Afghans. You, the international community, have turned our country into the playground of war. You make your toys, you bring them here, you play, and we suffer. We used to have farmers working our fields with plows, planting potatoes and harvesting them. Now, we have to crawl on our hands and knees with wooden sticks and metal detectors because we're looking for explosives. He said it'd take over 100 years to clear every single landmine out of Afghanistan, working 7 days a week. He then went on to say that this museum was put together to help pay for people who had suffered through doing demining. It was a fundraising tool that they used because Afghanistan lacks the infrastructure to pay for these things like prosthetic limbs for loved ones, family members who don't have access to these type of resources. And he said, I'd like to ask y'all one more question. Would any of you like to make a donation? I've never seen so many people reaching for the money. Money was falling all over the place. It was, this guy was a good fundraiser. So this song is his story. This is what he shared with us. This is my first attempt to try to sing the song of an Afghan and try to channel an Afghan. And when I wrote this song, I cried for about 5 hours straight as I was singing it. And I made myself do this over and over until I could make it all the way through the song without crying. And it was a very healing thing for me. And that's what music is for me. It's a form of getting this grief out of my body. Because when grief and pain can't leave the body, it gets stuck. It causes dis-ease. All kinds of stuff can happen. So it's okay to grieve. It's okay to let these things go. This song's called Playground of War. sun up to sundown, you know. Out in the fields, my father did so. With sweat on our brow, we plowed through the land. Now with tears in our eyes, we make a stand. 100 years of backbreaking work. That's what it takes to heal the hurt. Well, they call me a fool, and a fool I must be. But that's what it takes for all to be free. So here I stand in this building so small, a museum awaits to kill us all. And why do you ask, do I risk my life for my friends, my kids and my wife? Not a single toy in this playground of war was made with the hands of the Afghan so torn. And who did I ask to make this the plan? To make me a refugee in my homeland. Three decades of war we Afghans have had. From the USSR to those American lands. In a graveyard of empires we find ourselves in. All chasing the ghost of Bin Laden. Now, with gentle hands and nerves of steel, I dig through the ground so we can all hear and I'm working my fingers straight down to the bone. And a difference I make in this place I call home.